Taking all that into account, every seat, of course, you can work out is absolutely crucial, especially key marginals like the one I'm in, Middlesbrough South and East Cleveland, held by Labour at the moment, though with the Conservatives hard on their heels. And crucial to the whole debate, crucial to who wins the seats, is going to be the issue of unemployment, the issue of the economy overall. So let me take you through some of the figures in this area. Well, unemployment, in actual fact, mentioning that, is actually lower than the national average. It stands at just 6.5%. But it's younger people who are most affected, affecting many of the people I've been talking to here today at Prior Perstlove Sixth Form College. At least 28% of people claiming job seekers allowance are aged between 18 and 24, and that is higher than the national average of about 22%. And the North East as a whole also has some of the lowest house prices nationally, so therefore isn't benefiting at all from the property boom as many of the other regions in the UK are. Well, let's discuss the economy now. I'm joined by local business people. Jo Hand, who formed her own recruitment company. Ian Riley, who's the manager of a robotics company and local businessman. Andy Preston, who's also the prospective Middlesbrough Mayor. So very good to talk to you all. A very good morning to you. Now, Jo, let's start with you all. From you all, let's get the overview. What is your perspective on how the economy in this area is performing at the moment?
Well, being in recruitment, I always feel we're the barometer of the economy. We saw the jobs go first before anybody else. We see them come back, and we saw them start to come back about a year ago, thick and fast. The last quarter, I've seen a significant growth across all of the sectors that we deal with, and that includes office workers, it includes engineering, manufacturing. So from my point of view, I think things are really moving quite swiftly in the jobs market.
Ian, same kind of feeling from you?
Similar story. Our company is a robotics company, so it's high-tech manufacturing. We've seen really strong growth for the last 3 years now, roughly doubling our company size. So really strong growth. OK,
and Andy, what's your feeling? What's your sense?
Well, definitely nationally things are picking up and that affects us. But locally we've got some massive pockets of deprivation, unemployment, hopelessness. So the national figures are actually masking some very big problems that we need local solutions for.
Yeah, well, let's talk about the kind of jobs, and that's back to you then, Jo, because we're here in a sixth form college, of course. Many of the students here, perhaps going to vote for the first time, then embark on the world of work. What kind of industries, what kind of businesses are the opportunities in? Presumably the old smokestack, the old metal bashing ones have nearly all gone.
There's a lot happening in hospitality at the moment. There's a lot happening in manufacturing, as I said earlier, and a lot in commercial. And taking Andy's point there, a great example is just before Christmas we placed 100 people that had been long-term unemployed, and they were all quite, you know, in the category of 18 to 24, into a warehouse processing paperwork and documents. So that was an absolutely brilliant thing. And they were all from the Middlesbrough area, and a lot of them had been long-term unemployed. So I'm seeing a lot more of that, where the skill base is much lower and the volume's coming in those areas for people.
What about, Ian, what about this global race the Prime Minister and others talk about a lot, where we've got to compete at the high skills, the high intelligence end of the market? I mean, is yours a growth industry in this region?
So our whole sector is growing strongly, and actually the main barrier to growth for our business is recruiting and retaining talented engineers. We've really struggled to recruit graduates from the UK. Actually, we now recruit some from Europe and beyond, because we simply can't find...
Well, that will be an issue, as we know, won't it?
Yeah, it's challenging. It's some paperwork, some challenging with recruiting direct from universities, but overall we really struggle to find engineers from UK universities who are well versed in the kind of skills of an engineer as opposed to...
And Andy, what about government support? Because we've heard a lot, haven't we, from particularly the Chancellor. He's seldom seen at the moment without a hard hat and a high-vis vest on some part of the north, but not always in the north-east. When he talks about a northern powerhouse, do you see the north-east being included?
Well, Dermot, I get messages almost every day from people saying the north doesn't stop at Leeds. The north doesn't stop at Manchester, so there's a real frustration with that. The truth is, I think, I'm 48. I've learned over 30-odd years as an adult that national government doesn't look after us, doesn't solve our problems, and has got bigger fish to fry. So we need local solutions, and listen to people here, help them to create jobs, help them to find work, is great. To me, the future is about new skills, intelligence, computer programming, creative industries. We've got a university here with a fantastic track record in those fields. If we can harness that, we'll do incredible things.
And a college right here feeding some people into it.
So to me, I think we're on a race against other towns and cities in Britain to equip our youngsters and older people with the skills in programming for the 21st century.
Well, do you think you're getting those people? Are those people coming through from the region here?
So actually our strategy now is, due to the difficulties of recruiting from universities, we have 9 apprentices in a workforce of 52. And we're training in-house those skills because we don't feel we can get them from the universities. We take them from 16 from local colleges and training providers, and we train them in-house. That's the only way we've been able to meet the skills.
And Joe, in terms of overall economic help, have you seen the government actually making sure that resources are devolved to areas like this? And of course the big thing that they used to talk about, which was making the banks lend to fledgling businesses.
Yeah, I've seen a huge amount of support, I have to say, because there's a lot of workforce development agencies who fund getting youngsters back into work and helping them get placements, and many of those 100 were part of that scheme where, you know, they are supported. One thing I would like to add, there is a problem with skills. There's a million engineering vacancies in the UK right now that cannot be filled. However, there's also a massive problem with soft skills, and that needs addressing on a grand scale. We have some brilliant people, brilliantly qualified, but they don't have the relevant soft skills to actually do well in a commercial environment.
OK, and what about, I mean, I was talking about regionalism as well, localism, I suppose. And what do you make of this debate as we report here that the SNP, the Scottish National Party, may well be in a position of power brokers in a hung parliament? Do you feel that when we talk about transfer of powers between Westminster and Scotland, somehow the North East, Andy, gets leapfrogged?
Definitely, but I have to say, and I'm not anti-SNP, but having a party with a strong nationalist agenda that's uninterested in English economics and English social issues, any national party that wants to or talks about teaming up with them now is going to turn voters off very fast.
Quick thought on that, Ian?
I'm quite happy with the SNP if they're power brokers.
But no, I mean in terms of, you know, for instance, if they were allowed very corporation tax across the border there, would that suck?
It would be a concern if they could change
out of the
English taxation. Personally, Labman benefits strongly from R&D tax relief, from patent box tax relief, and if they had any influence over that on the English side, that would be a concern for us.
But Joe, I suppose there is another side of this coin, that a strong and growing Scotland is good for the whole
It's
region.
good. It would be super if they had some influence in university fees in England.
And on that note, let's end it there. Thank you very much indeed, Joe Hand, Ian Riley and Andy Preston. Your views there, well, it's not just